Have you ever found yourself drowning in distractions, wondering how you can possibly stay focused? I've been there too. With endless notifications and a world full of interruptions, it can feel like focus is a superpower we just don't have. But it turns out, it's not as out of reach as it seems. I know how frustrating it can be when your mind keeps wandering. You're not alone. Lots of us struggle with this. But here's the good news. Focus is a skill you can train, just like a muscle. The secret of getting ahead is getting started, as Mark Twain put it. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. Think of it like this. Improving your focus is a bit like getting in shape. It takes effort, but with the right tools and habits, you can absolutely build that mental muscle. So let's dive in and discover how you can master the art of focus and make distractions a thing of the past. But let's start with the basic. What is focus? Focus is all about directing your attention to one thing and ignoring everything else. It's like saying yes to one option and no to all the others. As Tim Ferriss wisely said, what you don't do determines what you can do. So imagine focus as a spotlight. When the spotlight is on one thing, it shines brightly and clearly. When you try to shine it on multiple things at once, it just gets blurry and weak. Now, focus doesn't mean you have to permanently say no to other things. It just means that in this moment, you choose to commit to one thing. This single-minded attention is the key to productivity. By saying no to every distraction, you unlock your potential to achieve the task at hand. So how do you focus on what truly matters and tune out the rest? Now that, my friend, is a crucial question. Why can't I focus? Often, it's not that we can't focus, it's that we struggle with making decisions. Our brains are capable of focusing, but we often clutter them with distractions. Have you ever had a deadline that pushed you into action? I know I have. When the pressure is on, the decision is made for you. You get the task done because there's no other choice. Many of us try to multitask, believing it's more efficient. However, multitasking is a myth. Sure, you can do a few simple tasks at once, like watching TV while cooking, but real concentration requires focusing on one task at a time. The myth of multitasking. Multitasking sounds great in theory, but doesn't work well in practice. You can cook and watch TV, but you're not truly concentrating on both. You're just switching your attention back and forth. When you're interrupted, say by a phone call or an email, it takes time to get back on track. This constant switching comes with a cost. Psychologists call it the switching cost. It's the time lost and the dip in performance when you shift your focus from one task to another. According to a study from 2003 published in the International Journal of Information Management, we typically check our emails every 5 minutes. It then takes around 64 seconds to get back into the groove of the previous task after each email check. This means we lose about 1 out of every 6 minutes just because of emails alone. When you focus, you're not only setting aside distractions, but also harnessing your brain's full potential. It's like tuning a musical instrument. When it's perfectly tuned, it performs beautifully. Likewise, when your focus is sharp, you accomplish more with less effort. I've found that carving out specific times for deep work and minimizing interruptions can really boost productivity. Try setting aside time blocks for single tasks and let go of the idea that you can do everything at once. How to focus and increase your attention span. With so many options and distractions, it's easy to get overwhelmed. How do you decide what to focus on and where to direct your energy? Let's break it down with a method from Warren Buffett that might change how you approach your goals. Warren Buffett's 2-list strategy for focused attention. One of my favorite techniques for narrowing your focus comes from Warren Buffett. He uses a straightforward strategy to help his employees prioritize their goals. Here's how it works. Buffett asked his personal pilot, Mike Flint, to list his top 25 career goals. Flint took some time to do this. Next, Buffett asked Flint to circle his top 5 goals. Flint identified these 5 as the most important. Now Flint had 2 lists. List A with the top 5 goals and List B with the remaining 20. Buffett then asked Flint what he planned to do with the items on List B. Flint mentioned he would work on them occasionally. Buffett's response was clear. No, everything you didn't circle just became your avoid-at-all-cost list. No matter what, these things get no attention from you. until you've succeeded with your top 5. This method forces you to make tough choices and focus on what truly matters. This approach highlights how often we can rationalize spending time on tasks that seem important but aren't truly crucial. By focusing on fewer goals, you increase your chances of success. Measure your results. The first step to maintaining focus is measuring your progress. Often, we lose focus because we lack feedback. Our brains naturally want to know if we are moving towards our goals. Without feedback, it's hard to gauge if we are improving. I found that when I track my progress, it helps me stay on track. For example, when I measured my push-ups, I noticed I got stronger. When I tracked my reading, I read more books. The act of measuring keeps me accountable and shows me where I'm making progress. Don't be afraid to measure your efforts. It's not about judging yourself, but understanding where you are. Measurement helps you see if you're spending time on what matters and helps you focus on your goals. Remember, as Peter Drucker said, what gets measured gets managed. Focus on the process, not the event. To stay focused over the long term, shift your focus from outcomes to processes. Many of us see success as a single event. For example, we might think, if I just lose 20 pounds, I'll be fit. Or, if my business gets featured in a major magazine, I'll be successful. However, successful people focus on the daily practices rather than the final outcome. They fall in love with the process, not just the results. If you want to become a great writer, enjoying the daily writing routine is key, not just aiming for a bestseller. If you want your business to succeed, focus on the ongoing process of marketing and improving, not just the end goal of being featured in a magazine. By concentrating on the process, you develop habits that lead to long-term success. Success is less about hitting a specific milestone and more about consistently working towards your goals. Concentration and focus mind hacks. Even with a solid process and clear goals, maintaining concentration can be challenging. Here are a few tips to help. Set clear goals. Break your tasks into smaller, manageable goals. This makes it easier to focus and track progress. Create a routine. Establish a daily routine that includes time blocks for focused work. Consistency helps your brain get into a productive rhythm. Minimize distractions. Identify what distracts you most and find ways to limit these interruptions. This might mean turning off notifications or setting up a dedicated workspace. Take breaks. Short breaks can actually improve focus. Try the Pomodoro technique. Work for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break. Practice mindfulness. Techniques like meditation can help train your mind to stay focused and present. Even a few minutes a day can make a difference. Now, apart from all this, you do know that staying focused requires effort and commitment. Speaking of commitment, you need concentration. And how are you going to concentrate? Well, let me tell you, if you find it hard to concentrate, you're not alone. With so many distractions in our daily lives, improving concentration can be challenging, but there are a few practical steps you can take to boost your focus and get started on what truly matters. Choose an anchor task. One effective way to enhance your concentration is by choosing an anchor task for each day. I've recently adopted this method, and it has made a big difference. Each day, I select one priority task that must be completed. This is my non-negotiable item, the anchor that holds the rest of my day together. By focusing on this single priority, I naturally organize my day around it. This method helps me avoid getting overwhelmed by a long to-do list and ensures that I accomplish something significant every day. Manage your energy, not just your time. Now, another key to improving concentration is managing your energy, not just your time. I've learned that my energy levels vary throughout the day. For me, mornings are when I feel most alert and creative. That's when I tackle my most demanding tasks like writing and making strategic decisions. In the afternoon, I shift to less demanding tasks such as handling emails or data analysis. Time management is important, but it's even more crucial to schedule tasks according to when you have the energy to tackle them effectively. Avoid email until later. One big distraction for many people is email. I found that avoiding email until after I've completed my most important tasks can significantly boost my focus. By not checking my inbox first thing in the morning, I can spend my most productive hours working on my priorities instead of reacting to others' needs. I understand that this might not be possible for everyone, but try to delay checking email until later in the morning. This small change can make a big difference in maintaining your focus. Leave your phone in another room. Another tip I use is keeping my phone out of reach during my focused work sessions. I usually don't see my phone for the first few hours of the day. This reduces interruptions from texts, calls, and notifications. When you're working on something important, minimizing distractions is key. If your phone is within reach, it's all too easy to get sidetracked by a quick glance at a message or notification. Work in full screen mode. When I work on my computer, I always use full screen mode. Whether I'm writing, reading, or editing, I make sure the application takes up the entire screen. This approach helps me avoid distractions from other open windows or icons. By removing visual cues that could lead me away from my task, I can maintain better focus. It's surprising how much this simple change can improve concentration. Remove morning distractions. Last but certainly not the least, I found that doing important work first thing in the morning is highly effective. To ensure my mornings are as productive as possible, I sometimes skip breakfast until later in the day. I practice intermittent fasting, which gives me a few extra hours to focus without the usual morning distractions. You don't have to skip meals, but you might consider simplifying your morning routine to maximize your focus. Improving concentration takes practice and discipline. It's about finding what works best for you and sticking with it. As you try these strategies, remember that it's not about being perfect. It's about making small, manageable changes that help you stay focused and productive. But then again, focus isn't about being perfect. It's about making steady progress. As Steve Jobs once said, the only way to do great work is to love what you do. So find what you love, focus on it, and keep pushing forward. What's one small change you can make today to improve your focus and productivity? Share your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you think someone else could benefit from this video, don't forget to share it with them. After all, we have to ascend together.